Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Looks like Dia is still not online. Next time you have a class, you make it a point to remind me. I had given her the ID about 1 hour back, but she has not seen it. Should we start with the class?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. Now, actually, there was little confusion with me. I had thought we have covered the fourth unit, but it was not so. This is the fourth unit. It is little, not very lengthy, very small unit it is. Even the 5th unit is very small. So we'll try to cover it as early as possible. We have already learned about the other we have already learned about all other layers. That is, we learned about physical, data link, transport, network layer. The last layer that we had learned in the last class, that was transport layer. So what we are going to do today is we are going to start with application layer, and we are going to learn about different functions that the application layer performs. Particularly, we are going to learn about the different protocols used in the application layer. Okay. Now, but you all know whether it is OSI reference model or whether it is TCP/IP reference model. An application layer is one which contains a lot of protocols which support different types of applications. For example, we may have email, for which there's an application layer protocol called SMTP. Then there is, say, Telnet, which supports for remote login. It is also a protocol. There is DNS. There are different other, like HTTP is another protocol which is used in the application layer, which is used for web browsing. So different applications that we work with on a network are supported with the help of different types of protocols. Okay. So we are going to learn some important protocols of the application layer. Particularly, we are going to learn about the DNS. We are going to start with DNS. Okay. So we will try to understand what is meant by DNS. I don't know how many of you actually remember DNS in the last semester. In the 3rd sem, you people had learned a little bit about domain name system or domain name server. You had learned that how domain name server is responsible for mapping domain names to their corresponding IP addresses. So under domain name system, what we are going to learn is what is DNS, what is meant by the DNS namespace, what is meant by domain resource records, and what are name servers. All these are very important from the point of view of understanding the domain name system. So you people are aware of the internet, and you people very well know that every company nowadays has its own website. Every educational institute, or maybe other institutions, they have their own websites, and we are able to get information about those companies through their websites. So now usually, generally, when we refer to any website, when we want to get some information, what we do is we try to give their website address. That is whatever is the name of that website, the domain name that we tend to give. But usually how it is, whenever we want to access any data, we have to access the machine on which the data is stored. For example, suppose I want to get the information about Gokte College of Commerce. Then I need to access the server where the information related to Gokte College of Commerce is stored. So if I want to get the information from a particular machine, I should be knowing its IP address. But by knowing the IP address, remembering IP addresses is very, very difficult. So first of all, we'll try to have a look at what problems people face, if at all we are going to use IP addresses. So usually, theoretically, web pages are referred to by their IP addresses. But remembering IP addresses of so many websites is very, very difficult, almost impossible, because there are millions of companies or millions of people who are on the internet and who want to advertise for their products or who want to advertise their web pages. Now, remembering so many thousands of IP addresses is very difficult. So instead of remembering IP addresses, remembering names is easier. Like, in a classroom, for me, remembering names is easier than remembering roll numbers. Like that, even in general, when we want to access data from the internet, it is easier to remember the name of that website rather than remembering the address. One more problem that can occur is, suppose a server is moved from one machine to another machine, then its IP address will get changed. So say for example, in the past, we remembered the IP address of Oakte College of Commerce, but the machine has changed. Then again, new IP address will be allocated to it. Then again, remembering new address is difficult. So all the time, this is for one or two small examples that I gave you. But imagine the internet and we accessing the internet with the help of IP addresses. It would be so very difficult. And that's why a solution to this was to use, hello?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So a solution to this problem was that they decided to make use of high-level names, readable names, because remembering the IP addresses would be so very difficult. They thought of giving names to those machines and accessing them with the help of names. So look at the slide and look at the example. Suppose we are accessing the CS department of a particular university, then we would directly give the name as www.cs.washington.edu. Now remembering this is easier. cs.washington.edu is easier. Or for example, suppose we want to access the website of our college, then gccbgm.org. This is easier. But remembering the IP address of our college server is little difficult. And hence, usually what we do is we give names to the web pages and we access them by names. But someone has to do the mapping. See, getting the name is easier for us, but how are we going to access the actual machine physically? How would we able to access the machine? So someone has to do the mapping between host names to IP addresses. That is, web pages have to be wherever they are stored, on whichever host it is stored, or on whichever machine it is stored. Its address needs to be accessed. So this mapping between host name to the IP address is done with the help of a protocol which is called as domain name server or domain name system. So DNS stands for domain name server, and domain name server is responsible for returning us the IP address of a machine in the internet environment. Now for this DNS is an application layer protocol. So in the lower layer, that is in the transport layer, DNS makes use of UDP, that is user datagram protocol, and then it obtains the IP address of that machine, and that is how we are going to access it. You can have a look at this particular diagram that is there on the slide and try to understand it. Suppose you are a user and you are making use of some browser and you are looking for, say, www.example.com. You want to access this particular website. So what you do in the address bar, you type that particular address, or rather that particular host name, that is www.example.com. The moment you do that, your machine, there is a process which is called as resolver process. So what your machine will do, it will access the library of the particular machine, and it will make use of the resolver process in order to create a query. Now this resolver process, just 1 second. Yeah, now you all can see there's a resolver process. Okay, this resolver process will create a query. That is, it will put the parameters of the names or name of this particular host, that is example.com, and it is sent as a query to the DNS server. So you can see the DNS server here. Now, when when the query goes to the DNS server, the DNS server will return back the IP address of that particular website. So look at the process. First, the user will make use of a browser. In the browser, he will give the name of that particular website, www.example.com. There is a process which is called as resolver. It sends a message to the local nearby DNS server. The DNS server will in turn return back the IP address of that particular machine. Which machine? Example.com. For example, it could be GCC, Bhakti College of Commerce, so gccbgm.org. So the moment you type gccbgm.org, it will return the IP address of our server which is situated in our college. Now, the machine, what it will do is, it will make use of this IP address. Then with the help of TCP/IP, it is going to access the data from whichever website you wanted. In our case, it is example.com. So this web server will return back the data that is stored on example.com. Okay. Yeah. So we will try to understand this in detail now. Now we will try to understand the domain name system in a little detail. Okay. Have a look at this. Now what you all can see here is the domain namespace. Now, the whole of internet that we have is divided into a number of domains. There are about 250 top level domains where each domain can cover many hosts. Host means servers. Okay. So every domain in general is divided into subdomains. Now, can you see this particular diagram? You all can observe in this diagram that the whole of the internet as such, it is shown in the form of a tree diagram, a binary tree as such, where top level domain names are there. For example, aero, com, edu, gov, these are the top level domain names. So 250 such top level domain names are there. And this top level, if you all can see, there's a root now. So in Unix, you people must have learned this kind of a tree structure. In Unix also, there's a root, and below the root, there'll be many other directories, and below that subdirectories, folders and subfolders. Like that, here also you have the root, and this whole domain name system, domain namespace, is divided into two main types of domains. One is generic domain. One is called as the generic domain, and the other is called as the countries domain. Now, generic domain generally has got all those generic domain, or whether it is country domain, it is represented in the form of a tree. The leaves of that tree represent domains that have no subdomains. Now you must know which are the leaves. If you know binary tree, you will know very well leaves are at the end of the tree. So in our case, in this diagram, ENG is a leaf, robot is a leaf. Now these domains do not contain any subdomains. But if you look on top, EDU, for example, EDU is a domain which is containing subdomain called Washington, and under that there are two subdomains, that is CS and ENG. Okay, so there are generic domains and there are country domains. Now, what are these generic domains? Generally, the kind of domains that people use for commercial applications, educational institutions, government-related websites, for them, the generic domains are used. And suppose we have the country domains, then generally the last two or rather two characters are used in order to represent the country domain. For example, in this example, AU stands for Australia, JP stands for Japan, UK stands for United Kingdom. Like that, India would have the two characters as .in. Like that, for US related domains, it would be .us. Okay. Now, one important thing that you'll remember here is the top level domain are usually of two types, as I said, generic and countries. Okay, but suppose you have a website of your own and you want to have your own web page, and you want to register it under the com domain. Okay, then in that case, it is very easy. What you have to do is the top level domains. You have to remember that the top level domains are run by registrars, and these are appointed by the Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers. So if you want to create your own website and you want to get a name, a web page for your a website name for your web page, then you have to apply to that registrar. Usually what they do is they check if it is a trademark or if it is already registered name. If it is already registered, you won't get that name. If not, you can definitely get that name, usually for a small subscription fee. So you have to pay some amount and you can very well have your own web page under a particular domain. For example, yahoo.com. So Yahoo is our domain, com is our domain name, and the host name there is Yahoo. Okay. Now, each domain is named by a path upward from the root. Okay. For example, suppose you want to refer to robot, this particular domain name, that is robot, which is under CS, under Washington, under edu. So you have to go upwards in the tree. You start from the leaf and go up to the root. So how would that domain name be? robot.cs.washington.edu. From the leaf to the root, upwards you have to go. Okay. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to go from the leaf to the root, upwards like this. Okay. So if you're referring to robot, which is under CS domain, under Washington, under edu, then you would refer to it as robot.cs.washington.edu. Okay. Now, one important thing that you'll remember about domain names is that domain names are usually case insensitive. Okay, and every domain name can be up to 65 characters, and the whole path should not exceed more than 255 characters. Okay. Now, the next thing that we must know. The next thing that we must know, just 1 minute. Yeah, before we proceed ahead, have a look at this particular table and try to understand what are the domains and what are their uses. You all can see in the table, COM stands for commercial, and it has no restricted access. EDU stands for educational institutions, and definitely educational institutions, some of the educational institutions may not want to give their data to everyone, so the access is restricted there. Like that, even for military, MIL is the domain name, and the access is restricted. Also, you all can observe for museums, there is there's a domain called museum. For cooperatives, there's a domain called Coop. And for for contact details, there's a domain called telephone. Similarly, we have for information, info. Okay. Now we'll try to understand what are domain resource records. Okay. To understand domain resource records, first of all, you have to remember one thing. Domain name system is implemented in the internet as a distributed database. Now, distributed database means what? Suppose you have the host name and you want to get its IP address. There are millions of hosts all over the world. So the data has to be stored on some machine from which that mapping will be done, and the resource record, the record will be returned back to us. So DNS is usually implemented in the form of a distributed database, which is distributed all over the world. So the data is not stored in one place, rather it is replicated in many places, so that data can be obtained very fast, and by chance there is some data which is not available, it is corrupted, then it can always be retained and got back from some other database. So domain name system is implemented in the form of a distributed database. So we must know what is meant by domain resource record. Now I told you, domain name system maps a host name to its IP address. So mapping means what? We send a query and we get the answer in return. This answer that we get in return is called as domain resource record. Once again, I'll repeat. Suppose we want the IP address of a particular host, we send a query through DNS and we get means what we send is the host name, and what we get back is the IP address. This particular query and response, the response that we get is called as a domain resource record. So all the domain resource records together make up a DNS database. Now, so every domain resource record is a five field tuple. 5-field tuple means every record is made up of 5 fields, which is shown on the slide. The first field that we have is called as is the domain name. The first field that we have is the domain name. Second field is time to live. Third field is class. Fourth field is type. And fifth field is value. Now, you people are already learning DBMS, so you know what is meant by a tuple, isn't it? Do you know what is a tuple? Am I audible?
Yes.
Rishikesh, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. Do you people know what is meant by a tuple? A tuple is nothing but a record. Okay. So every tuple will have 5 fields in it. If it is a domain resource record, that tuple will be containing 5 fields. What are those 5 fields? Domain name, time to live, class, type, and value. Now, what is the domain name? It indicates the domain to which the record applies. Whichever is the domain to which this particular record is applying, that is the domain name. Then second is time to live. Time to live means this particular record, this particular tuple is valid for how long? That is decided by time to live. So stability of a record is decided, of that particular resource record is decided with the help of time to live. So if particular information is highly stable, then that value will be very large. If it is unstable, then that value will be very small. For example, if the information is not going to change for a long time, then it could be a very large value. That means for that much amount of time that information is valid. But if the information is all the time, dynamic, it is all the time changing, then the time to live field will be very small, after which new data will be, the validity of that data will be lost. The third field that we have, we call it as class. Class decides the type of, or rather the class of the record. You generally, what we have is internet records, or there could be other records also. If it is internet record, the code that we have is IN. If it is other type of record, other codes will be there. Okay. The next field that we have is type. It indicates the type of record. I'm going to tell you now what are the different types of records. We will just have a look at it. And after that, what you have is value. Value, this is a parameter for the type. Whichever type it is, its value is defined by value. Now, I'll give you one example. All of you can have a look at it. Yeah, all of you can see this is the domain resource record types. Can you see the first column? It shows the type. What all types are there? SOA is there. It stands for start of authority. So the value is the parameters for this particular zone. I'll come to that. Similarly, you can have a type called A. Then A would mean the IP address of a host. It is usually a 32-bit integer. Similarly, AAAA. That is it's IP address only, but version 6, and it's a 128-bit integer. Like the different types are there. We need not go into detail, but you must know that the type will define the type of the record. Okay. Now have a look at this particular example. Are you able to see this slide, Rishikesh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So have a look at this particular this domain name, domain resource record. All that are shown on the screen are domain resource records only. Have a look at any one that you want. Let's have a look at this example. Okay. There's a record on your screen with the value star. I have put a tick mark there. You're able to see that example? I hope you are able to see the example that I'm trying to explain. Star. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah, ma'am. Star.
Yeah. if you all can see now, there are 5 fields in this particular row. Star, then 86400 INA, and then the IP address. So it is called as a 5-field tuple. There are 5 fields in this particular tuple. So I had just explained what are those 5 fields, which is the first field that we have. We will have domain name. So now star is nothing but the domain name. Then next is time to live. So right now the time to live in this particular example is set to 86400. That is 86,400 seconds. This particular data is valid. So the domain name is star. The time to live value is 86400. I told you it stands for internet record. A means IP address. And what is the IP address of star? 130.37.56.205. Okay. So now you have to understand how this works. On your machine, you will create the DNS system will create a query. Query is sent to the server. Server will return back a record, or server will return back a result. That result is shown in this particular tuple. So what is the result? The name of the domain, that is star, that how much amount of time this particular data is valid. It is valid for 86,400 seconds. What type of record it is? It's an internet record. What is this type now? It is A. A stands for, I told you just now, A stands for IP address. And what is the actual IP address? 130.37.56.205. Okay. I will just quickly revise whatever we learned once again. Just 1 second. Yeah. Now I want you to go through what we learned just now. We have just now learned that in the internet, it is very difficult to remember IP addresses. So we give names of the website. So we require a method by which the web pages can be mapped to their IP address. So mapping DNS is a protocol which maps the host names to the IP addresses. And for this, in transport layer, it makes use of a protocol which is called as UDP. Now I want you to remember this diagram. Generally, a user will give the name of the website, for example, www.example.com. There is a process called resolver. It creates a query and sends it to the DNS server. Now, what the DNS server will do, it will look up the system and it will return back the IP address of that particular machine. Once this browser gets the IP address, it sends the query to the IP address of that particular machine and gets back the relevant data. Now, the domain name space we should know. In the internet, the whole of the domain name space is divided into 250 top level domains, which are either generic or country domains. Now, generic means general purpose, like commercial websites, educational institutions, they may have their website, governments may have their website, that comes under general. And suppose related to a particular country, there are certain websites, then that comes under countries. So you all can remember this. The domain names are generally case insensitive. They can be up to 65 characters, and maximum, the whole path should not exceed more than 255 characters. Now we should know how a domain name system works. Generally, we start from the leaf and go upwards to the root. We must also know the full forms of each of the domain names. And now we must know what is meant by domain resource record. Now, usually, domain resource records make up the DNS database. So usually the DNS database is made up of 5 fields, and those 5 fields are explained here: domain name, time to live, class, type, and value. So the same thing I have explained with the help of one example. What is the domain name we took? We took the example of star. So domain name is star. Then the time to live is 86,400. The the record is internet record A. You all can see in the previous slide. A stands for IP address. So the IP address of that machine is 130.37 and so on. So when a query is sent from a machine, the resolver will send that query, and what we get in return is a domain resource record. Okay. All right. Now I want to continue for some time. Rishikesh, just check whether I can create one more ID and send it to you in 2 minutes, and we can continue again.
Yes, ma'am, we can do that.
Yeah. So I'll just create one more ID so that we can continue for another 15-20 minutes and we can finish this off.
Okay, ma'am.